everyone. It is great to talk to you again today. Let's talk a little bit about a question I posed to folks on X. Is Purdue building a blue blood program? I know what some people are thinking, while I can see either side really becoming the outcome in reality. Now, in college basketball, the term blue bloods, though, is used in reference to, Division I basketball programs considered to be among the most elite, either contemporaneously or historically. There is no official definition of what constitutes a blue blood, so it's kind of what you think. But the term is generally applied to programs that have a long history of success, a strong fan base, and a national reputation, right? Focusing on some of the supposed blue bloods in men's college basketball is what we're really looking at. Now, there is a debate among which teams should be considered blue bloods. But generally speaking, Duke, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina, UCLA, those are the teams that most often are written about as being blue bloods in the sports media. Sorry, Hoosier fans, but UCLA and Indiana are sometimes now excluded from these lists of blue bloods, or they have had their status as a blue blood program called into question by many people. And this is due to the majority of their success and championships coming under one coach or occurring during one particular stretch in the past. Our in-state rival hasn't won a championship in 40 years, but their fans still think they are blue bloods. The same with UCLA. It was a long time ago. But still, arguments can begin on that one on both sides, I think. So it just depends on where you're leaning. Meanwhile, teams like UConn and Villanova are making an argument that they should be part of the pack. If you look back like 20 years, Duke, Florida, North Carolina, Kansas, I think UConn and Villanova have won at least 2 championships. Several blue bloods in there, yet several who just might be. Not one single Big Ten team, though, to be seen, right? Okay, so let's go down that rabbit hole. One of the Big Ten supposed powerhouses in Indiana has been absent from the scene on the big stage for a while now. It's been 40 years since the last championship. And on the other, maybe the powerhouse that we could see, Michigan State, seems to be losing its luster as Izzo ages. Sports media writers generally now consider these successful schools among the best, but maybe a step below blue bloods, due to being among the winningest teams in the regular season the last 50 years, as well as having won a considerable amount of championships back so many years ago, and playing some of the best teams in the country that Izzo does all the time, of course. Now, let's look at some of that criteria when we're looking at blue blood teams and how does that stack up for Purdue. First up is tough competition. Well, you know it. You just saw the Maui Classic. Purdue seems to be following Michigan State's or Izzo's playbook by playing tough competition early in the season to make them stronger late in the season. You could argue, though, it kind of burned them out by the end of last season. Second characteristic is to have a winning program. Purdue has been getting stronger for years now. Painter has made an atmosphere where players want to come to compete in, right? And as many of you know, Purdue has been ranked number 1 for some part of each of the last 3 seasons. And believe it or not, none of us believe this. Something no other Big Ten team has ever done. Boy, you can see it. Consistency is building in the program. Now, third up is a strong fan base and following. Well, if you are at Mackey on any given night when they are playing, the fans are regularly listed as top 3 in any publication you find. So the stadium and the fans. What's that mean? Great fans generally breed great teams because the teams are strong. The last trait, but probably / maybe the most important, is the championships. Last year's team won the Big Ten and Big Ten tourney, but crashed and burned after that spectacular season ending in March Madness. So they had a great season, but this year's team has more moxie and probably a chip on their shoulders from last season's debacle. They're tired of hearing about it, but still no NCAA championships. So this year's team just may have that drive in them to do it. I'm not saying Purdue is a blue blood, but I am saying that they are on the right path. The road will be tough, and it will take years and probably multiple championships to join an elite club like this. But teams like Indiana, UCLA, and Michigan State can tell you how painful it can be to get the climb and to get the fall from grace up there. Maybe, just maybe, the Boilermakers are now taking the next step to blue blood territory. Or maybe it will just be a good streak, and they stay in a tier just below blue blood status. But I'm ready for the ride of a lifetime as they push towards the forbidden territory of Blue Blood Nation. All right, that's it for now. You go ahead and talk amongst yourselves about it. Meanwhile, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.